What if one of the most trusted diesel engines in trucking history wasn't just a relic of the past, but a rising force in 2025? The Cummins N14, born in an analog era, is not only still alive, it's making an unexpected comeback. In a world full of smart sensors, electric rigs, and emissions crackdowns, why are veteran drivers and fleet owners turning back to a 30-year-old powerhouse? You're about to find out, and it's not just about torque. In this video, we'll unpack how the N14 earned its legendary status, why it's still being rebuilt today, and what loopholes are allowing it to outlive its EPA-regulated competition. We'll also dig into parts scarcity, rebuild economics, and the underground diesel movement keeping this beast alive. Let's dive into it. Back in the early 90s, Cummins released the N14 as an evolution of its NT series. Built on the massive 855 cubic inch platform, it was designed not just for power, but for durability. Rated from 310 to 525 horsepower and up to 1,850 pound-feet of torque, it quickly found a home in OTR semis, vocational trucks, and heavy haulers. It was more than just an engine, it was a symbol of confidence. Mechanics loved it for its simplicity. Drivers loved it for its stamina. Fleet owners loved it because it rarely broke down. In a world before DF, DPF, and EGR nightmares, the N14 was the backbone of North America's freight movement. Then came the 2000s. Emission standards tightened. Electronics took over. The N14, with its mechanical fuel systems and basic electronics, couldn't meet the new rules. Cummins phased it out. Engines like the ISX took center stage. Cleaner, more efficient, but far more complex. Maintenance costs crept up. Reliability issues grew. Suddenly, drivers who never thought they'd miss the 90s were reminiscing about the N14. And not just reminiscing, some were hunting them down. The problem? The industry moved on, but not every route did. Remote logging roads. Mountain hauls. Cross-border freight. Harsh environments where uptime matters more than compliance. In those worlds, complexity is the enemy. So, fleets began turning to rebuild shops. Old N14s were yanked from scrapyards, repowered into gliders, and swapped into work trucks. Demand spiked. A black market of sorts emerged, engines being rebuilt under exemptions, used in off-road or AG setups, or quietly running under less regulated jurisdictions. It wasn't just nostalgia. It was necessity. But this movement came with friction. OEM parts started drying up. Some components, cams, injectors, ECMs, became hard to find. Prices for core engines doubled. A rebuild that cost $7,000 a few years ago might cost $15,000 now, if you can find one. And let's be clear, not all rebuilds are equal. The aftermarket is a gamble. Some shops cut corners. Others build tanks. Operators had to learn who to trust. The rebuild economy turned into a skill game, part mechanical know-how, part street smarts. So why is the N14 still winning in 2025? It comes down to three things. First, simplicity. Fewer sensors, less failure. Second, durability. These engines routinely clock over 1 million miles when maintained. Third, control. Owners like having engines they can work on without a laptop and a dealer subscription. That kind of autonomy has value, especially as tech gets more restrictive. This isn't just about horsepower anymore. It's about strategy. In a time when new trucks are pushing $200,000, a solid N14 powered rig, even with a full rebuild, can run for a fraction of the cost. No DF. No frequent regans. Fewer breakdowns. More uptime. More margin. And for some fleets, that edge is the difference between staying afloat or shutting down. Still, this trend can't last forever. EPA loopholes are closing. Regulatory pressure is growing. And even the best-built N14s will eventually need parts that no one makes anymore. Some operators are stockpiling engines and hard parts like it's diesel doomsday. Others are retrofitting hybrids or experimenting with alternative fuels. The clock is ticking, but the N14 is still ticking louder. Where does that leave the future? Somewhere between innovation and defiance. Some say the next wave is electric. Others bet on hydrogen. But the people betting on the N14 today aren't anti-progress, they're just pro-survival. And until a clean, cost-effective, long-range solution shows up, this iron giant isn't going anywhere. Do you think the N14 has a place in the future of trucking? Or is it just the last gasp of the diesel era? Drop your thoughts below. Hit like if you've ever driven one. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into the engines, tech, and strategies shaping trucking today. Because this story? It's far from over.